welcome back on a nice summer Friday here at
Yeah.
Laurel Park. Welcome today at the races. Keith, thanks for hopping on again.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready to go. Beautiful day out here in lovely Laurel. And, tough card. I went through it
Agreed.
again this morning, and, I couldn't find any, like a slam dunk type of horse that I could really sink my teeth into. I'm going to spread around, take some shots. Didn't really have any huge prices when we left off of here on Sunday. I think things might get rocking and rolling here a little bit today. But, yeah, good weekend ahead of us.
Correct. Today, and starting throughout this weekend, just overall, a wonderful cards throughout the whole weekend. So well done to the team over at MJC for setting that up. Let's go ahead and take a look outside. We are outside, but further outside to see what we've got going on here around Laurel Lawn is looking pretty good right now, Keith.
Yeah, greened up, fast and firm. Here we go. Track's been playing pretty honest all the way through both courses, so looking forward to that. We'll have the rail settings as we go along in these turf races for this afternoon. And, yeah, so did you do anything good last couple days? I was at Greenmount last night, the
There we
Greenmount
have it.
Station. So, yeah,
Yes.
so if you're ever up in that area, Carroll County, up around Hampstead, stop in at the OTB. Great horse
Bug this
racing
guy.
action, huh?
Bug this guy, try and find this guy there so you can
No,
get some tips.
no, that's my kind of like my second home. We got some great people, good tellers up there. Marcella, Teresa. Teresa treated us to dinner last night. It was awesome.
gosh.
She's had a little bit of luck, so thank you again to the hospitality up there. But yeah, so if you can't kind of get to a track, and you can stop by an OTB, that's a good one to go check out. Greenmount OTB up there near Hampstead.
We talk about that hospitality. That's wonderful,
Yeah.
and just kind of that encapsulates Maryland a little bit here. And let's get things rocking and
Yeah,
rolling.
let's go.
To start with the early pick 5, and it does begin in this claiming 16,000 for the 3 and upwards, which have never won 2. 6 furlongs on the dirt, scratch in the 1. 5, 2. Keith, you have the number 6 on top, and
Yeah.
Top Mule. This one is in the barn of Mikey Girales. Axel Concepcion. Love that price of 15-1 right now.
A little bit of a reach, Callie, and I'm going to be doing this a couple times within the card. You've got Ann Whistle, your top selection. I think a lot of people are going to be on this big dropper from Phil Capuano. Blinkers go on. We saw him connect with a runner with that move the other day. Very fast. She just wasn't able to carry it last time. Got in a battle with Moco Gold. I think right to her outside is Watch Me Disappear. Going to go third time for Jerry Robb. Second time, I should say, for Jerry Robb back to the dirt. These two, I think, are going to set an honest pace. Now, Top Mule hasn't been seen since November of 22. A win on the front end, kind of slower fractions, right, over this racetrack. But comes back protected with the waiver. LASIK's going on. Going back and keying up prior rivals were good. For a barn that's not scared to just let a horse go, that waiver's kind of got me intrigued. Working forwardly, maybe gets the pace and change the tactics and rallies into this at a price.
For sure, and add to the fact Mikey Girales, 11 for 17 as of lately, 1, 2, 3, third after the layoff. Keith, let's talk about the number 8 in your exacta, and I Have Courage. So a nice 15-1 and then a 6-1 for his exacta box. But let's take a look. Mancia stat. Here we go.
And you guys know how I play these races. If I'm giving you two prices, you're betting them both win in place. You're taking top and bottom with a couple horses. That's kind of the strategy that I like to use, especially here where I think we might have some vulnerable favorites. But this stat works out well here for Mancia. Last 3 years on the dirt, 4 for 19, 21%, 8 for 19 in the money. First off the claim, a little bump up in the tag jump there. The claiming price, ROI of 421. Now, claim to me on what looked to be a little bit of a suspicious drop. No doubt about it. Paired up 64 buyer figures, good enough to win this race. Drop, okay, battled, a little bit of a fade. But given a little time, they had every opportunity to wait a couple more days and run back for the 10. They decide to go here. I think I Have Courage can get that cleaner break and kind of track the speed, showing the ability to move into it here. A little another price user. 6-8-7-2. Spencerian gets to the right level here. Chased a really fast group last time out.
Pay attention when Keith Fusel gives out these prices because they usually come at a great value. We will give you, Keith, we try our best to give you guys as much value as we can amongst this card. So pay attention there in that first race that starts in about 55 minutes. Now let's go from race 1 to race 2. That does kick off the early pick 4, Keith. Let's take a look at your ticket.
Yeah, this ticket could have been just gargantuan. It could have been huge.
Sure.
I got to keep it here. 18 bucks. This is a structure. If you can add to it, go ahead. I go 311. Ship the goods. Not in love with this colt here. I mean, suspicious to drop to me, even to the 40, but in for the tag today for Clement. I also like Maya Prince for Trombetta. This little move I think will work. Race 3, 2 deep. 2 and the 6. There's another price. Morning line 20-1. Bob's Worth. Another shot here for Juralis. Race 4 with the 3, 6, and 7. Race 5, 3 deep to wrap it up. The 2, the 6, and the 7. Couple firsters in here. Classy Chick, Aerial Moon. I'll use those two. We know the proven commodity for Jerry Robb with the speed in Bucking Great. So there you go. $18. Add if you like. If we can catch it, I think we're going to catch a little bit of a healthy payout.
This guy next to me hits more pick 4s than I do pick 6s. So again, when he gives you some good value, dig in on it. That's a good ticket value for a card like today's. Again, a fantastic card throughout the whole weekend here in Maryland. And let's kick off that early pick 4 with this claiming 40,000, which have never won 3, going 5.5 on the turf. For the 3-year-olds and up, scratch in the 1, Bossman JJ, who's entered for Sunday, and scratch in the 2, Bowie 2-step. Keith, let's go ahead and take a look at Maya Prince from that effort back on the 24th of June over at Laurel Park. Right here, and then cutting to that final furlong, not the best.
Yeah, 6 furlongs to 5.5 today, and off a little bit slowly. Was a shorter field, but off a little slow, and then we're going to see that steady early on, going to get itself in a little bit of a predicament, and then work out a trip. A little bit of a late run here, but I think was hampered by the flow. 23:46 and 1. That's not super fast at that 3/4 distance here. On the left lead there, would have liked to see a little bit more, but I think might get a little bit more pace. Would have liked to see Bossman JJ in there. I thought he had a shot, going to run on, like you say, going to come back over this weekend. But Maya Prince be able to drop in a little bit rate. He's faced some really good horses. I mean, proven salty turf runners. You see Shecky Sabaz and horses like that. That's serious business. Dropping down here, getting the 3 in life condition is going to be a major help, I think, for Maya Prince and for a barn that's been going really good.
Now let's talk about a horse that you have in your exacta, now inheriting the rail in the number 3. Ship the Goods for Christophe Clement. Rodriguez, they team up well together, but he comes in for the drop down here today.
Yeah, what do you think here? You've got a 3-year-old, lightly raced, only 4 starts, showing talent, handling, shows win on the dirt, turf, beats an okay in allowance field. That horse, the horse that he beat down at Gulfstream 2 back March 10th, came back to win a stakes in its neck. So
yes.
I'm just a little concerned. This barn is about 20%, 21% when going first-time tag. Certainly fits. And, they went and got the services of Rodriguez. They mean business. But Maya Prince, to me, is still faced maybe a little bit better when you overall look at the whole resume there. So take a shot. A little bit better. Might be a little bit better price. We'll see. 11-3-7 9-star shopping certainly fits in here. I had to alter course a little bit late, but definitely trying. I like this horse back at 5.5.
As Keith Usel mentioned, he does go 11-3-7-9 there in the first leg. Second leg, race number 3 in that early pick 4 is a maiden claiming 12-5, going 1 mile and 16th on the dirt. For the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, Keith, you have the number 2 on top. Bob's Worth for Mikey Juralis. It's a day of Juralis here for the start of Friday racing for you at Laurel, with Carlos Lopez on top again, coming off just a tick of a layoff.
The quality barn doesn't run a lot of horses, but they do good work. Mike and the company does good work, and he does really well when he teams up with Lapidus.
Yes.
Off the claim. I'm looking, maybe they were thinking turf eventually for this horse when they claimed it. But sticking with it, was entered in a sprint. They opt for a route. They've got inside position. The horse has flashed some speed. Some good works moving into this. Gives me a little hope. I mean, because this barn, they've been very good year in and year out off the claim, and especially with these maidens.
Let's talk about another price that you have in some value underneath in your exacta 8-1 morning line on Coast to Coast for TJ Aguirre, and Johan Rosado gets the call here today.
Yeah, I mean, had to kind of grain to the racetrack May the 18th at Pimlico, going 1 mile and 16, but ran well against the next out winner. That was first time gelding that day. Turf to dirt's an angle that's work. I know this barn, they're going to get on track here. Coast to Coast has got the right kind of flow in front of them today, and the right kind of, right. Rosado will be able to settle, drop in, relax. Long live now a chaser. Step ahead with some speed. Bob's Worth, I think, is going to show it fresh and showing good speed in the mornings. Coast to Coast will rally into this.
Speaking of step ahead, we've got a little bit of a look-see at step ahead from that last effort out over on the 25th of June.
Well, you're looking maybe consistency. I know the 1 ran good at Delaware, right? But this guy, his last couple, he's kind of found it. He got headed and chased and stayed on well at Pimlico, and then comes back to the 1 turn at Laurel. Really, really game effort. Gets challenged inside, just not quite good enough. He's on or near the lead, and he's showing he wants to stay the trip against this class. This works for him. He'll be a factor.
I agree with that. I think he'll be not only will he be a factor, but I think it's just the transfer of what he's going to be doing from just what we saw in that last effort out, of course. Maldonado, Cruz, they team up well together usually, but just the type to have needed those races, I think, a little bit. Light switch has gone on a little bit as Keith Fusel goes 2-6, 4-1 in race number 3, that second leg. Race number 4 is a claiming 40,000. Also starts that Rainbow Pick 6. We've got a nice little carryover, I think, from last week. And check that out, 22 grand, and that's going to be climbing by the time we hit into race number 4, which is a sprinting turf effort for the girls 3 and up, claiming 40, which have never won 3. Scratch the one in Lola Flow. Of course, before we get into this race, let's get into my ticket.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that ticket. Keith, this is where you were more conservative than I was. Again, I could have had a bomb of a ticket here. I did have to smudge down to some singles. I had to slice off a little bit, but 3-7 here to start things off. Race number 5, I single in on the 9. I single in on a first-time starter on the outside for the Russell team. Could have gone in with Bucking Great as well for Jerry Robb and Xavier Perez. Race number 6, I could have trimmed down, but honestly, I think that's so action-packed and it's so talent-packed with that field. My top selection, a price of 10-1 on She Is Whiskey in that jackpot super high 5 race. Race number 7, that's a starter race. I just hit the all button on there. We do have a scratch in that race, but we will dig into that in a second. Race number 8, I also put in another single in race number 8. In the number 7, the Addison Poor, of course, another Brittany Russell. So I single in on 2 Russell horses, one on the turf, one on the dirt, and then 1, 3, 4 in that nice starter optional, $43.20 to dig into that Rainbow Pick 6. Taking a stab at this again, complicated card, the tricky card.
You said it with that allowance race. I mean, you've got 6 or 7 in there. That's the Fillies and Mares, right? The other then. That race was a real head scratcher there, race number 6. And hey, but pay attention to her tickets. Last week, she laid it right out there for everybody. They didn't want it. Right? Somebody, I mean, just play.
We have a nice
was it
pool.
15, 16? Now I've been chasing it, 22,000.
Nice. That's all I got to say. And what a game, what a fun.
Yes.
This is what makes it fun. We have a pool that's kind of getting in a little bit of action and some nice races to go along with it, which does start, as I mentioned, in race number 4. This claiming 40,000, short on the turf for the girls 3 and up. Scratch in the 1 Lola Flow. Keith, you have the number 3 Pogi Bonsi on top for Kieran McGee. Axel Concepcion. This is a nice value play at 10-1. I have this one in my exacta.
Yeah, this is another one. They wanted turf for her last time. They didn't get it. But he's good like that. He's kind of like the weatherman. He can predict it probably better than the weatherman. But this one ran absolutely lights out. And there's question marks in here. Some horses have back form here. Some of these horses are just not quite living up to their expectations. So I've got a horse, Lightly Racer, 2 for 2 in this barn, that prompted the pace, a quick pace, well in hand. I think this to the surface, Holy Bosses, we've seen a couple of them run okay on the turf. Yep. Lady Serenity, just to her inside, will carry her around the racetrack. Let's hope she takes to the turf because she really caught my eye last time out. So if you're looking for horses, maybe turf form that is consistent, that maybe you should be able to count on, I think Chrome-Plated Heart certainly gets a little bit of relief in here, but hasn't quite followed through. Afandi, the right kind of horses, Maserati. Yeah. There's none of those in here today, so we'll set up shop. I think mid-turn we'll have aim. Let's see if she can just follow through because she's been running a little bit even the last 3/16 of these races. So there's one for you. And the 6, Patty Cakes. Improved in the barn, a little freshening now. Then they're going to bump up. Speed is in this race. It's going to be there from the 2 and the 3. I think Patty Cakes might the most reliable stone-cold closer because the last time this was on the turf back in the fall, October 22, Armstrong Valls came back out of that race at a big price to win the first level allowance with a 78. So I think you're going to see that one firing home late for Jamie Rodriguez and Jamie Ness.
A good kickoff to the Rainbow Pick 6. That nice pool of 22. A grand will be up by the time race number 4 hits. And before we get to race number 5, we're going to give you a little bit of a break. We'll be right back.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
And the fun continues for us here, Keith. For the rest of this card in this maiden claiming 45, 5 on the dirt. For the 2-year-old fillies, Keith, you have the number 2 on top. Classy Chick for Claudio Gonzalez, gets Axel Concepcion. There we go, a nice another value at 10 to 1.
Yeah, this is a tough race. I know Brian's doing the line now. This was a tough little race. I think Bucking Great's going to take plenty of play. It's proven. It's got the speed. It's been running pretty game, but might just be one of those kind of seconditis kind of horses. It wouldn't surprise me if she wins, Jerry Robb. But I want it a little bit out of the box maybe. Claudio Gonzalez recently getting back on track here, running more I guess up at Monmouth. But Classy Chick comes in, the Maryland bred. Don't use the waiver, in for 45. But I like the family here. Sar Treaty, pretty good mare, 4 for 16. You got plenty of winners in the family. This horse is akin to Ben and Joe. A couple other horses had some talent. Has a debut winner in the family. Steady works, nothing glaring. But Claudio, year in and yeah, it's been pretty good with these 2-year-olds, especially in the maiden claiming category. Take a shot, little upsetter. 2 horse, I think another firster to look at. You don't even have on the board here as well. Aerial Moon for Michael Trombetta. By Mosler, only about 8% with the 2-year-old firsters. But the mare, the family here. You've got some horses in here that have run well, and they've run well early. 5 starters, 2 debut winners, okay, with one that's run third. So I like that. Improving the recent work. Yeah, this one I think is sneaky. Trombetta, you're not thinking always with firsters. This one might work.
This is kind of a field that has a little bit of a lot of these horses on the dam side have done pretty well amongst the field, so that's what makes it ever so intriguing there. As Keith Fusel goes 2-6-7-9 there for race number 5. Race number 6, of course, it does kick off that jackpot. Super high 5, get that top selection in 1 through 5 here in race number 6 in this nice allowance. We just talked about this, Keith. Mile and 16th for the girls, 3 and up. Scratch the 15, scratch the 16. I believe the 14 does come in. But let's talk about your top selection in UN's Justin Nixon. As I'm scrolling, Justin Nixon, William Humphrey gets the call on this one. Wonderful performance last time out on June in that off a little bit of a spring break.
Yeah, and was way back. I don't want to see her quite as far back today. Blinkers went on 2 races back, had an excuse that time against these key kind of horses. You see Downtown Katie, she's a key in this group. But UN's, I like the way it ran last time from so far back. Settled, ran its own race. Didn't really have the duel. Had an honest pace. They were going a pretty good clip. 22-3-46, no doubt. But it wasn't contested. Shifted out in the lane. And really, that last 70 yards, she really kicked it in. So this 5-year-old mare now looks like she's back on top form. And she's edging towards those higher 70 buyer figures, which what it's going to take to win it. I think she's got a shot. Now, the key's going to be the flow, too. Can she get a little bit of help up front? I think TEQUILERA right to the front again, and this 14 Idicos for Motion. They're going to be the ones prominent early. They might be able to walk the dog a long way as long as they avoid the duel. But we've got video. TEQUILERA last time out put the blinkers on, if I'm not mistaken. The blinkers went on, but it was kind of the same old theme. She's had a lot of races where she's gotten the lead, she's gotten clear. She doesn't really give up. There's just somebody a little bit better. And in this particular day, she drifts a little bit here mid-stretch. And it was an up-and-coming Stidham runner who pulled an upset, I believe, up at Delaware, who really charged hard down to the inside. Yeah, just watching her, the 3, she's trying. She's giving effort. She's going to get a chance today on the front end, and I think she'll carry it a long way at a mile and a 16. She's going to be fine. But, yeah, it always seems like there's somebody up there a little bit better.
She's always doing the hard work for everybody else. That's the kicker with her. So we'll see if she can do it at this distance here today. You also have the number 11 underneath. She is Whiskey, a win on the grass. Second time on the turf. Last time out for the Russell Group. Yeah,
I guess it's going to be Boca Chica riding today, and it's shown to handle a couple different types of pace scenarios, right? A slower pace, 2 back. Runs big, a little bit more flow, and just kind of work through some traffic last time out. A little bump to Ampulo Esquema, the 5, who I think is going to escape at a big price. I would use this one as well. just because this race is so wide open. But looks like she's maybe found a little bit of home. She's running some big races here on the turf, and that was a strong charge last time out. A determined run in the state-bred stateside, now steps over to the open allowance. I think maybe just a slight, almost just like a lateral move here today.
As Keith Fusel goes 12-6, 11-5 there in that talented group of girls there to kick off that jackpot super high five. Race number 7, the fun does not stop. In race number 7, this nice allowance optional claiming 62.5, 5 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 2-year-olds. Keith, this is going to be a fun one. Let's go ahead and take a look and give it a whirl on the inside for Cal Lynch. Let's take a look at that last effort back in Delaware.
Yeah, pretty good debut. I guess the only negative you can take away is that he just kind of stays on that left lead. He hangs on it the whole way, but he was prepped, ready to roll. Bet down to $1.80 to 1. There was a Jerry Robb horse took a lot of play in there as well, chased inside, faded. But this one, other than the left lead, looked good. Eagerly, was kind of geared down just a touch late. Draws inside, a couple scratches, take out the 2. The 5 was going to be a major player, the 5 Frosty the Giant. Going to have to break well because I think he's going to get some pressure. Speediness, a couple of these other horses are going to be up there early. But this one, too, I think he's going to stretch out when you look at some of the family down the road. And even turf might be in his future. We talked about this a couple weeks ago with Cal Lynch. Remember he had that horse that ran big first time out of Pimlico and then came back up?
Yes.
That hasn't been – that's like the one chink in the armor here. These horses have run well first out and coming back second time, the winners. Can they follow it up? This one catches the right kind of field. I think he gets it done. Speediness, though, is going to make him work for it.
And there we have it, speediness, where I give that one my top selection. You have also low mileage. Let's talk about low mileage. Really professional effort for John Salzman Jr., Jamie Rodriguez in that last effort out.
Yeah, and we've seen where the fillies can handle with the boys right here, the 2-year-olds, and get it done. She's going to jump in here, but you talked about a professional. Was down inside, took a little dirt, worked the trip outside, and finished up nicely to win going away. Works forward here, enough freshening off of that big debut. Would not be a surprise in here.
And as Keith Fusel does go 1-6-3-7 in race number 7. Race number 8 is a nice allowance optional claiming 40,000 going a mile here on the turf. Keith, let's go ahead and take a look at your top selection. Jamie Nuss says you must chill, and let's take a look back at that effort at Old Hilltop.
Yeah, this was a good race, and you're looking at post positions, maybe moving inside to outside today. Ran a great trip here, the inside-outside trip behind Dr. Davis at a big price that day. Came back to win the 3 other than with a strong number. You must chill. He's a trier. Doesn't look like the dirt. Maybe he's a fan of it anymore, but get him back to the turf. I think he's going to wake back up, and he has enough positional speed to kind of go up and lurk and drop in early, which I think he's going to need to do. I don't want to see him hung wide into that backstretch, draft in, because you're going to have Wicked Prankster who's going to go ahead and go. Street Copper should be sharp off of that 6 furlong race. The return was really good. And Tom Hagen, when he's right, likes to go forward in these types of races. So I think he's got a little flow to target. He's keying up against the right kind horses that have gone on and run well. Back to the turf, wakes him back up. You must chill.
And as Keith Fusel goes 10-1-3-7.
Let's talk about the one real quick.
Yes. I didn't know if you wanted to delve. You touched on Street Copper. I didn't want to know if you wanted to go more. But Street Copper, of course, you go from the outside to the inside, getting a nice potential little setup here from that sprinting effort.
Yeah, 4 wide the entire way almost, and really finished up well. Dr. Jeff, that's the Russell runner, has been able to show the ability to kind of stretch out from the sprint to the route. Trombetta, this kind of move second off time, is very, very good. This could be maybe a little bit of a replay of the Wicked Prankster Street Copper race back in the Maryland Million Day. We'll see. But I think You Must Chill's going to have something to do with it. I'm going to key around the 10, the 1 and 3. I think they're going to be awful tough in here as well. But let's hope I can get like 3, 7 to 2. I don't know if I'm going to get that on the 10 or not. So I don't have any glaring prices, unfortunately, in races. If you had to use like a bomb in here for your Superfecta, I would take Power back. Maybe if the horses run some big races over this turf course, it's kind of maybe getting back into shape and getting back to a preferred surface. So there you go.
There we have it. Keith Fusel 10-1-3-7 there in race number 8. Race number 9 is a claiming 5,000 to wrap up our day over here at Laurel Park. A mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Keith, let's go ahead and take a look at your top selection. Grant Andrews, this was all the way back in Gulfstream, though. That was a nice effort on April 8th.
Yeah, Kieran with a couple runners. They both look live to me today. And Grant Andrews, going to kind of work a trip, two-path, and swings on out, is going to close steadily to get up. We haven't seen this one his first try since April, so a little bit of a freshening here. But, Kieran, when he does this move, the claim, and then he's back in for the nickel, he's dangerous. He's 7 for 14 and 10 for 14 the last couple of years, just kind of hanging on the left lead, but just a steady grind. That track, I've seen a lot of horses kind of just make that move center of the track at Gulfstream. It's been working. But, yeah, draws inside today, has shown that ability to lay close enough and catches a field where there's not really a stone-cold speed horse. So I think Rodriguez gets him into the race early, maybe get a little covered-up trip and roll into it. But I think Shoot the Messenger as well. Your top selection, I like. He's run sneaky good. And was it Pimlico? I don't know. But he's shown a little bit more positional speed and a lot of heart the last couple tries. Gets in here with Tyus Lapastina is a pace factor in the 6. Erewhon, you've got in there 4th. I'm going to throw into the mix as well. Just kind of got off its game with that early trouble last time out.
Sure enough. Here's hoping he gets a better trip there. As Keith Usel goes 1-3, 6-4, and we are going to head over to lightning round to touch in on a couple of things. For example, like your value play of the day, you kind of bookend with everything today. Your value play is in race number 1. I have Courage for Monterey, Mancia, and Sheffries.
Yeah, right now it's not a huge value at 5-2. Hopefully the odds will step up. This was a tough little race to figure out, but I have Courage. We had that stat, the bump, the 50% bump up. That works for me. I have Courage, tactical speed to stalk and whistle, and I think Watch Me Disappear, go out early in battle.
And then your best bet of the day, last race of the day, we just mentioned Grant Andrews, McGee, Rodriguez stepping in and shipping up from Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, that jockey trainer combo was just lethal. And we talked about the stats, 7 for 14 the last couple years, went off the claim and in for the nickel on the main track.
Now, Keith, you're probably not familiar with this brand, but I am as a younger horse crazy girl. Breyer just wanted to bring up, for more than 70 years they've had been the premier brand, but there's been popular models of these great race horses, correct? Secretariat Cigar, but now they have Full Moon Rising, and who is that exactly? So this is their latest model. What is the highlight of it is that he's winless in 10 starts over at Gulfstream Park. However, in his first year off the track, he was USCF Horse of the Year in the Western Dressage Open Intro and the Western Dressage Suitability National Champion in the Western Dressage and the Thoroughbred to earn National Pony Cup. So it's the success and, of course, his striking pattern that made him a highlight for this year. And just wanted to highlight that, racehorses, even though if they're not big celebrated on the track, if they're celebrated off the track, it's something to really, it's nice to see as well.
Absolutely. Your emphasis was younger in there. You hit me with a little, since you're a little bit younger, making fun of the old man like I'm not hip enough for all this stuff. I just don't see you as the type that's collecting young horses. That's true.
The brand's been around definitely longer than you have, but I just didn't. It was more a personality thing than an age thing.
I want to collect winners. Okay, that's what I want. I want some cash. I got to pay some bills. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. And let's go ahead to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches for the day. Good luck, everybody.
You got it. Good luck.